to his friends. Now, these questions have gone back to his associations back to the 90s and even early 2000s, where now they're asking Shine. If you don't know who Shine is, who's a former Bad Boy artist, who, pretty much the culture was saying was the next up when it comes to rap. One fateful night in 1999, they were in a New York City nightclub. Apparently, there were some dudes that didn't like Diddy. There was some threatening stuff said, and apparently guns were pulled out, and there was shots fired. There was a young woman who was hit in the face with a bullet. Diddy fled the club with Jennifer Lopez, his girlfriend at the time, and was subsequently pulled over a couple blocks later. Eventually, he was charged with weapon possession, but the shooting was actually all laid and all, taken accounted for by his artist, Shine. Shine has maintained that he did not do the shooting. He's maintained that because he was not rich and famous as Diddy, that the system just, did him dirty. Also, he wasn't a U.S. resident. He was subsequently deported from the United States afterwards. He's now in Belize, his country of origin, and he's a politician. He's no longer in rap. Clearly, his aspirations of becoming a rap star got killed. He went to jail. He went back to his country, still got himself on his feet. He's a politician. They're asking him, even by saying, did you know he used to be doing freak-offs and doing all these things that we're now hearing? And he responded, but he was highly offended. And the reason why he was offended, because he was saying, you know why I'm here being a politician, right? Like, this guy took a lot from me too. Listen to what he said.
When I was a 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that relationship. Yes, I forgave, I moved on, but let us not pretend as if I was in Miami for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, I saw you spent a birthday with him once.
I
saw a birthday
I
cake.
went again to do a charity event for impoverished youth.
Now, what they're asking him, so they're grilling him in Belize to say, well, it looked like you and Diddy was still in cahoots even after you went to jail. And I don't know if you've seen Diddy, Shine, Charity. They were seen together when he last returned back to the States. Here we go. Where is the video of them kind of being around each other? Diddy and Shine, right here, right here. Which, by the way, they did his birthday thing, they did a charity thing. So I guess people in Belize are saying, yeah, you're saying he destroyed your life years ago, but as recent as not too long ago, you and him were on stage and it looked like you forgave him so much. You must have seen some redeeming qualities. If it was that horrible as you're now speaking about him now, why would you reunite with him recently? Shine is saying, I did it for charity. But also you see a performance, right?
Yes, I forgave, I moved on, but let us not pretend as if I was in Miami for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, I saw you spent a birthday with him once.
I
saw a birthday cake.
I went again to do a charity event for impoverished youth in London. So let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life and who I forgave and who I moved on, and for the better interest of Belize, because he was in a position at that time to give scholarships and to maybe invest. I would not deny attempting to bring the investment to Belize and to bring the contributions to education to Belize, but don't distort it as if he and I were bombali. This is someone that destroyed my life, but do I take any joy or any satisfaction with what he is going through? Absolutely not. I am different than maybe other people. No one needs to fail for me to succeed. No one needs to suffer for me.
In your at the height of your professional relationship, or thereafter through the reconciliation, when he was an instrumental part of promoting you through Revolt Media, were you aware of these freak-off events, and were you aware of them? Did you have any participation in them?
Oh my goodness, Jules Vasquez. Jules Vasquez.
Were you aware of them?
Jules Vasquez.
Were you aware of the freak-offs?
Sir, I had nothing to do with Sean Combs' personal life, no interaction. That level, everything was strictly on a professional level.
This is
Clear point of view.
so okay. So this was said back then, I believe. Natanya Rubin, she was the one who was shot in the face during that day. She denied that it was Shine who did it. She said she saw the gun in Diddy's hand. She said she told investigators, but it did not matter. Now, it's interesting to see Diddy charged in the way he has. You have a witness who's literally saying what she said then. She said Diddy shot her, but Shine took the blame for that, or got the penalty for that. She's saying this to this day. The feds could still charge Diddy for that, but they haven't. Why? And this is where people have the notion of maybe he was a CI back then. It's more complicated. So maybe the cops saved him because he was a CI, but who knows? Anyway, that's kind of sad. Let me see. Diddy's lawyer actually spoke, and this is a female lawyer.
His attorney is Tenny Garagos, and she was with Combs in court today, joins me now. Thank you very much for taking the opportunity.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
I was surprised, but now I'm going to feign that I'm not. That kind of charges, Harvey Weinstein, they were worried about him messing with his ankle bracelet. You can't play with these big celebrities. Just keep him where he is. Why is that not a fair outcome?
Because what he did here was so extraordinary, Chris, that he shouldn't have been denied bail. And we're going to be back at a bail hearing tomorrow before his assigned judge at 3:30. Hopefully he'll get it then. What he did here is on a magnitude.
By the way, obviously it was denied, but again, this is Mark Garagos' daughter, Tenny Garagos. She's the second in command to Diddy's counsel. The first is Mark Agnafilio, I believe.
Of unlike anybody else you could imagine. A week after these public searches were televised, he gave us his passport. His children gave us his passport. He then paid off the mortgage entirely on his Miami home. $18 million, Chris. That is an unbelievable amount of money. He's been trying to sell his plane since the searches happened.
Explain why, other than that he's got a lot of money. Why does it matter that he wanted to pay off the house? What is that instructive of?
It's instructive that he's going to have a bail package ready so that if he was arrested, he would have something ready so that he could get out the next day and show the judge he's taking this very seriously, which he is, which is why 12 days ago, Chris, when we thought there's an indictment that may be coming, he flew to New York the very next day. He got on a plane and he came here. And that's an extraordinary move for a defendant who's been under investigation that he's been aware of for at least 6 months. He came to the very jurisdiction that is investigating him, and he said, I'm here, I want to surrender, let me surrender. And they obviously didn't let him do that, but he's been here for 12 days, not knowing if it would happen the day he got here, or a year from now, he was going to wait. And we told the government, if you want his address, we'll give it to you. He's been here complying with the investigation at every step since the searches took place.
Why do you think it will be different tomorrow?
Well, there's a new standard, basically. The judge will look at it completely different, not differently, but he won't have to rely on what the judge did today. And we will just have a second shot at it. We'll be able to make our case again.
Is that how it always works? Or is this celebrity justice?
This is how it always works. Typically, when someone gets arrested in federal court, they go before the magistrate judge on duty, which is what happened today. And then everybody, whether it's the government who's unhappy with the outcome or the defense, they have the right to appeal to the district court judge. So that's what happened.
How long does he have to stay in there if it gets denied again?
Until trial. till the end of the trial.
So that could be
Although
months or
it,
years.
You know, but then we would have the ability to appeal to the Second Circuit. So even tomorrow wouldn't be the end of it.
You think he gets out?
I hope he gets out. He has done everything somebody under investigation can do. I can't think of anything else that he could have done. There was no surprises here, Chris.
Chat, she's going to be very instrumental in his case. Why? A white woman defending you, again, in a case about you being harmful to women. It does look good when you have a woman sitting there. It does look good. Now, is she a better attorney than Mark? Probably not. That's why Mark is the first, or the lead. But having her there, they'll probably have her clearly do certain things that could possibly, if it goes to a jury trial, the jury could see, well, there's clearly a woman who feels he's innocent, right? Like, that's important, right?
We knew that he was under investigation for racketeering and sex trafficking, and he stayed put. He committed not to fly out of the country. He stayed within the country, and they didn't ask that of him. That was a commitment he made.
So, Tenny, my people that I talk to at the Southern District are talking a typical talk. It's not all the time they say this, but they say this is going our way. Not the bail. They say we have them. We got a lot of people who are going to talk and say that this is what Diddy was about, and some people may pass it off as hip-hop culture, but it is a series of felonies and RICO. What do they have wrong?
They did say in court today they've talked to 50 witnesses. We said the same thing. We've been doing a parallel investigation at every single step of the way, talking to every single there's the same kind of universe of...
Now, when I tell you, in estimation, Diddy's paying $2 million a month. Diddy's going to pay more than the government to do the investigation. The government has certain things to kind of twist people's arms. Diddy's going to put private investigators on it. The reason why Diddy wants to conduct his own investigation is that he wants sworn statements. He wants things to definitely counteract. And this is what it means to be, rich and powerful, right? You're going to have to get you investigated just like how they would investigate it. And anything they have wrong, you have a lot of evidence that is wrong. So this is why usually the government is usually careful when they're dealing with people who got money, right? Because if somebody that don't got money and you bring forth A, B, C, and D as allegedly your facts or your allegations, the other person don't really got the time, energy, and money to put into to get, oh, okay, there was this person that y'all don't know the name of, but this was a witness that was in the corner, but they saw, and they live in, I don't know, they live in London now. The private investigator is going to go to London. Let's go talk to her. All right, hey, this is going to be a recorded interview for the purpose of, I'm a, registered private investigator with whatever state or whatever precinct, and they're going to get their facts. They're going to get sworn statements. So when you have sworn statements, they got sworn statements. So like when you playing versus somebody like Diddy, if the state interviewed, or not state, the feds interviewed 50 witnesses, Diddy's people interviewed 50 witnesses. You get what I'm saying? So now Diddy might be like, well, we have video recording and audio recording and signed statements by these people that could potentially counteract what you're going to do. And at that point, the government might be like, well, this is going to make our case just look untrustworthy, even if it's the same person just saying the two different things to both different parties. Said one thing to Diddy, A, said the other thing to, or Diddy's investigators, and said B to the cops. So again, these things matter. It looks like Diddy has done his research. We don't know who he's, gave some money to be on the side, or just gotten statements legitimately from that really agree with his version of stories.
People here that he's been around. We're talking to people to show that we have a case. He's fighting. He's innocent, and he's going to be able to show it.
Innocent means he didn't do any of the wrong things. Not guilty means they can't make the case.
He's
right?
innocent.
So you think he did none of these things? He was never present in any of these activities? This wasn't his lifestyle?
But a lifestyle and being present in activities doesn't mean he committed a crime.
Unless those activities and that lifestyle are criminal.
But those activities and the lifestyle is not criminal. What was notable today, what my partner Mark said in court, is they never once said that these women didn't consent to what happened. Not once.
Can they all have consented, or were they minors and therefore the
There were
consent doesn't apply?
no charges relating to minors. None. None. The difference here between R. Kelly, between Epstein, no charges relating to minors.
So this is all adult consensual activity. People can judge it morally, but legally, you believe he committed no crime.
Maybe it's not what someone here would do in the bedroom, but that doesn't mean that what he did was a crime.
What is his disposition and his mood?
He's okay. He's ready to fight. He came here ready to fight, and he's okay, and we're going to fight again tomorrow.
Tenny, you have an open audience here at all steps of this process to say what you believe from your client's perspective. We'll cover it fairly throughout. And hey, thanks for watching.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, his I think that sounded a little bit better from hearing it from a woman. And this is why when it comes to a case like this, we rarely see women being charged with sex trafficking or sexual assault or whatever. Obviously you'll see like a Ghislaine Maxwell, but she's not the head person involved. She's the madame, the assistant, the person who's facilitating rather than the beneficiary in terms of, sexual gratification. So for Diddy, I think it's important that he had her, he should send her out to talk about the case, not the dude. You know what I mean? Let the dude work in court. Send the girl out. A white woman talking about how you're a good person. Yeah, you might be freaky, but that ain't a crime. Okay. Now, in terms of that, and by the way, again,
on Puffy.
real quick, for everybody on Twitch, we got the Diddy Baby Oil Fund going on. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs in 5 days. Let's see if we can get to it. But this is to ensure that all 1,000 bottles of baby oil, the Diddy Baby Oil, special brand, lands at a safe place. Not for no illicit sex purposes, but I think we should auction them off, man. We got to get these baby oil to some people who needs to be moisturized, not sexually, but who got cracked skin. Like, baby oil is not really, that's a funny thing about it. If they had said like 1,000 bottles of KY jelly, yes. But I'm going to be honest with you. I got baby oil. I've never used baby oil for sex. Like, I used to watch, there's a porno. Anybody used to watch like Onion Booty? That's like some old shit. I feel like I'm old when I say that. There used to be like some pornos. It was these big ass, like these chicks with some gigantic asses and they're rubbing it up with baby oil. And I never got the allure of that. What the fuck are we oiling up a girl's booty like cheeks for? I don't get what that does. Like, have I ever used some baby oil or something? I think I have, but it makes shit sticky. Like once like skin and skin and baby oils in between, it's like sticky. Like, what the fuck are we doing? So like, I don't really look at if I go into your house and I see baby oil, I don't think sex. I think dry skin. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think, right? I think I might associate but some people might associate like Jergens with like jerking off. Like I don't associate necessarily just regular lotion with jerking off either. Bro, people would just buy KY jelly, bro. Am I wrong on that? Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. Yo, wait. Okay, let me do just an informal poll. Y'all don't even got to make a poll in the chat, but let me pull up the... Here we go. I just want to see what y'all say. One in the chat if you frequently use baby oil in sex. Like, that's not... I don't... Or maybe I shouldn't ask that question. One in the chat, if you go in a stranger's house and you see baby oil, you think of sex. I don't. Now, granted, the amount, 1,000, you might be like, what the fuck? I get that, and I get how you could connect that to sex. But if you go in someone's house and say you're in the bathroom, you're taking a piss, and you see a bottle of baby oil, one bottle. We're not talking about 1,000, one bottle. Do you instantly think, freaky ass nigga need a... Do you think that? Like, oh, this is a freaky ass nigga. Or do you think nothing of it? I wouldn't think nothing of it if it's just baby oil. I really don't think of... Again, I think it's probably the amount, 1,000. That seems, it's only so much cracked skin you could have, brother. Like, you know what I mean? There's only so much dry skin you could have. Baltimore junk removal, you're saying if you go into a friend's house or even a, maybe a girl you're seeing, like she invites you over and you go into the bathroom and you see baby oil just sitting there. You're like, oh shit, she's a freak, or oh shit, this is used for sex. Okay, all right. I'm not knocking it. That's just not. Again, lube is one thing, and I don't want to Google lube items, but like if I see KY jelly, I know what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Like low key, like if the freak off supplies, bro, you know what I would think a freak off supply is? Vibrating cock rings, anal beads, dildos, the little rose toy, bondage, BDSM shit. What else? Like, what would I think is like freak off supplies? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just think Diddy's too rich to be using. Yo, baby oil is like some broke nigga shit. Like when you fucking a ratchet bitch, like you need some other shit to spice it up. Yeah, like nigga, that's like, yo, I'm surprised they didn't put like, yo, we found 1,000 bottles of Hershey syrup. You know that chocolate syrup shit that people be using sometimes, like they'll put it on nipples and lick it off or whatever. Like, wait, no, maybe the niggas just like Hershey syrup, brother. Yo, we found 1,000 bottles of whipped cream. Yeah, maybe I look at baby oil like whipped cream and like Hershey syrup. I like obviously not 1,000 of them. Like obviously if I see 1,000 bottles of whipped cream, I'm like, nigga, you got a bakery here? Or I might be like, the fuck? It's booty oil in 2024? Somebody said these motherfuckers doing whippets. Okay. Oh, shoot. 330 RPM React says, yo, my OG in the car. Yo, shout out to your moms. Your mom want to know why the hell did he went to jail too? We not getting too explicit. We just want to know. Hey, yo, I'm going to be honest with you. Baby oil used to last more than my mom used to buy baby oil. Just to be honest, my mom used to buy baby oil. It would be there. We would have lotion too, but like it would be there. And like if you're really like you had dry skin, a smaller quantity of baby oil could like really like it'll have you shining, like you'd be glistening. But I never really thought of it as a sexual item. I might be just tweaked out then. Somebody said bottles of whipped cream. Well, obviously, like if I seen a bottle of whipped cream, I wouldn't say nothing. If you have 1,000, maybe I think it's the amount 1,000. Anyway, let's listen to Dr. Umar. Let's listen to what he says. He's confused by in this entire shenanigans. He's saying that he just doesn't see the evidence. Listen to what he says. Go ahead, Dr. Umar. By the way, I'll say this before I play what he got to say. I guarantee if he saw like some evidence of Snow Bunny, he'd be like, Diddy guilty. Well, no Snow Bunny, no other evidence other than baby oil.
Holmes's federal charges have little, if anything, to do with domestic abuse or pedophilia. His major sex crime federally is he's being accused of transporting women across state lines to engage in sex. What we call prostitution. Not Casey, not the freak-offs, not underage girls, but prostitution. Why am I bringing this up? Because I don't support prostitution either. I do not support men paying for the sugar box. I do not support black women having to sexually exploit their sugar box in order to pay their bills. With that being said, prostitution is the oldest female business on the planet Earth. Prostitution is the oldest female business on the planet Earth. Prostitution is the oldest female business on the planet Earth. It is the sexual trafficking that Sean Puffy Combs is being accused of. Not domestic abuse, not freak-offs, not stomping out Cassie, not engaging in sex with underage women. It is interstate sexual trafficking.
Now, I'll pause and say this. I think he's making slightly a point, even though there is evidence. Like, you know, again, we haven't seen discovery, and I think he's just thinking the indictment, all the evidence is going to be laid out. No, this is a very good. This is going to be an intricate process. We're going to see a lot of evidence, right? There probably is text evidence, right? There's clearly text evidence of abuse. There's we'll get to that where Cassie has sent some texts to Diddy. There's text evidence of abuse. There's probably video evidence of some type of sexual activity that corroborates what these witnesses were saying were freak-offs. And yeah, there's going to be evidence, right? What he's right about is that certain things aren't being charged currently. Right? He's not charged for beating girls up. He's not charged for some of these other things. But I don't think that means he's completely all in the clear, right?
King.
And I do think, Dr. Umar is a really smart guy, but he might be a victim of speaking too soon, too early, right? It took some people to videotape for them to be like, oh shit, maybe Diddy's just not one of the boys, right? Saying there's no evidence, an indictment doesn't necessarily have to spell out the evidence. It has to spell out the charges. What the evidence is going to be spelled out is the discovery and obviously the subsequent hearing that, we're going to realize what's going on.
That is the charge. Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up.
Another thing that I want to add to it, again, I believe Dr. Umar is a very intellectually high IQ guy, but we also got to remember when he's saying where's the evidence, this is a reason why they go through a grand jury, right? Because if there was lack of evidence, there would be what was known as a no bill. Hey, we don't see the evidence of probable cause that would lead us to say he should be charged with these crimes. So what the grand jury has seen, we haven't seen. So Cassie's testimony, which I 100% know Cassie testified at that grand jury. She's victim numero uno. She testified, or they have played numerous or copious amounts of interview footage with Cassie. She's a big victim in this case. So for them to vote majority that there's probable cause for abuse of victim one, they had to hear from her directly, or they had to somehow see enough evidence to agree to that. And all these other cases and charges, counts. Let's be clear. This indictment, this is why they go through a grand jury, that you can't say, oh, these guys are racist. They're trying to make a name for themselves politically. They're trying to go at Diddy. They got 23 people to literally vote, listen to months of testimony, months of evidence. Granted, one-sided, absolutely. 100% one-sided. But they got that person to go through a lot to essentially get to this conclusion. So they seen something.
Peace, God. Because when I listen to the news, they're not talking about the evidence against Sean Puffy Combs. When I listen to the news, they're not talking about the evidence of Sean Puffy Combs. When I listen to the news, I have yet to hear anybody give me a specific piece of interstate sex trafficking evidence against Sean Puffy Combs. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it for the low political IQ Negroes. I'm going to say it for the average political IQ Negroes.
My bad. Is my mic still low? Mic check. My mic still low? Just let me know if my mic is still low, people. I'm sorry. Let me get a little bit more. Turn that bit up. We should be good, correct?
And I'm going to say it for the high IQ Negroes. I haven't seen or heard a single piece of evidence against Sean Puffy Combs. I ain't read it in the New York Times. I ain't read it in the Philadelphia Inquirer. I ain't heard it on CNN. I ain't seen it on headline news. Where is the evidence that Sean Puffy Combs engaged in interstate sex trafficking? I keep hearing about Cassie when I turn on the news. Why are we hearing about Cassie when Cassie has nothing to do with the federal indictment? I don't think any black man should have
Yeah, he's grossly incorrect, and for someone who I think is so smart, Cassie is the heart of the federal indictment. She's There's a whole count. We could go back to let's let me pull up the indictment once again. The indictment lists Cassie as he has a whole count from the Cassie indictment. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up for you guys. That's not it. That's not it. Oh my God. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Diddy. Pause. That's not it. Where is it? That's the detention memo. Is this the indictment? Yes, this is the indictment. Yeah, I'm actually very disappointed that I look to Dr. Umar to be a factually correct guy because he speaks historically about race and politics, and sometimes I definitely don't know, so I listen to him like his word is law. But when you see somebody being just flagrantly and clearly just uninformed, you're like, wait, maybe you just chatting up there. You're not backing up everything by, listen. So this is the indictment. The first count is racketeering. The second count, which some people, that's the only question. They're like, the second count could have been under the racketeering statute, but instead there's a whole different count of sex trafficking because there's sex trafficking under racketeering, as you will see here. These are the acts included in the racketeering conspiracy for the first count: kidnapping, arson, bribery, witness tampering, forced labor, and then F, which is sex trafficking. So he's being charged with sex trafficking under racketeering, then sex trafficking standalone. It's a standalone count, which is by force, fraud, or coercion of victim one. They're saying this wasn't necessarily an organizational crime, but this is a direct crime to Cassie. How do we know victim one is Cassie? Bruv, like they're gonna literally like this only describes her from at least 2019 to 2018. Which female has he been involved with for around that time? Okay, interstate, blah blah blah, da da da. Also, when you look at it, says aided and abetted to engage in commercial sex acts in reckless disregard of the fact that victim one was engaged in these acts as a result of force, fraud, or coercion. And if you look at well, I could pull these up. I could pull up the detention memo. The detention memo clearly says the victim. Here we go. Is this the detention memo? Yeah. The detention memo clearly shows that the victim, it'll mention the video, which is March. Look, it'll say one incident, a female victim, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like this is the only victim they talk about, period. So it's clear, and you'll see the. Oh, yeah. The defendant co-conspirator sets fires to individual one, vehicle, blah, blah, blah. And also they mention clearly individual one was a person fucking victim one. And that's Kid Cudi, who's individual one. And victim one is Cassie. So I have no idea why. Listen, this is one of those situations you want to be fair, but you don't want to hang your hat to a side because you don't want to look crazy being on the wrong side of history. And again, maybe Diddy beats this, but saying that Cassie isn't the victim or saying that there's no proof, you're going to look stupid because there is.
Evidence against Sean Puffy Combs. I'm going to say it again.
Hold on. Renette, and this looks like one of our chat queens, she says, Renette Gordley says, he's 100% correct. Is he charged for drugging the partners? Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Yo, chat, y'all are looking at an indictment. They don't have to spell it out for y'all. They don't have to spell it out for you. They're already provided the proof. Look, just look here. The drugging, nothing. Look, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. This isn't fraud. Move that out of the way. So it's sex trafficking by what? Force, could mean, yo, you're literally having a gun to someone's head saying they have to do something, or they could feel forced in other ways. But also coercion, that's kind of like the exact definition of, hey, this guy controls your livelihood. They're coercing you to indulge in this type of behavior. That's, again, that both of those things are going to include drugging. Right? They're going to include drugging. So again, y'all are looking for, you know what I mean? This isn't, you know, and I don't want to call that, you know, that lawyer who was filing all them lawsuits was putting crazy salacious acts in the first complaint. This is the feds. They don't have to do that. They got an indictment. You're going to hear about these things, right? They're going to have to prove, how do you know, and Diddy, we already seen Diddy's lawyer say, hey, we interviewed the sex workers who gave a statement and say they didn't think anyone was intoxicated. The feds are going to have to prove that. They clearly had some proof of it, that these people were either under duress, which I think that's clear to say. If he controlled all her financial aspects, where she lives, vehicles she drove, he had people watching her, at least alleged, according to her complaint. Yeah, he controlled financially. That's the thing. Yo, if you're dead broke and you're going to be fucking homeless without me, I could use that as leverage to get you to do some shit I want. Like that's kind of like, yeah, you guys understand what I'm saying, right? Anyway.
I'm going to say it for the low political IQ Negroes. I'm going to say it for the average political IQ Negroes. And I'm going to say it for the high IQ Negroes. I haven't seen or heard a single piece of evidence against Sean Puffy Gomes. I ain't read it in the New York Times. I ain't read it in the Philadelphia Inquirer. I ain't heard it on CNN. I ain't seen it on headline news. Where is the evidence that Sean Puffy Combs engaged in interstate sex trafficking? I keep hearing about Cassie when I turn on the news. Why are we hearing about Cassie when Cassie has nothing to do with the federal indictment? I don't think any black man should have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I don't think any black man needs 1,000 bottles of baby oil. But I haven't seen anywhere in federal law where owning 1,000 bottles of baby oil is a federal crime. Brothers and sisters, are you with me so far? Brothers and sisters, are you with me so far? Do you understand, overstand, and understand what the most requested black scholar in the world is saying right now? Do you understand and overstand and understand what the most requested black scholar?
Yeah, what Dr. Umar is doing is like really, it's really odd to me. Nobody claimed he got a charge for baby oil. The baby oil aspect is in the indictment, and the media is going to use that to make Diddy look creepy. He's not getting charged with baby oil. They do call the baby oil freak off supplies, and I guess it's open to interpretation. What, as we just discussed, what could be used for a freak off or a sexual activity, but he's never charged with baby oil. That's not part of the charges at all. So again, it looks like Dr. Umar is arguing against the media portrayal. The real, we don't know too much about the case, even with the indictment. So the salaciousness is the 1,000 bottles of baby oil, but we really don't know too much about the case. So what Dr. Umar is arguing about, he's arguing about the media portrayal of Diddy.
In the world is saying right now. Do you understand, overstand, and understand what the premier Pan-Africanist on the planet is saying to you right now? Baby oil is not a federal crime. Stomping out Cassie, he was not charged with a crime. The freak-offs are not crimes. So why do we keep hearing about Cassie? Why do we keep hearing about baby oil? Why do we keep hearing about freak-offs? Where are the federal charges?
Dr. Umar, brother, they're right here. And the reason we keep hearing about Cassie, because she's involved in all 3 counts of these initial charges. the men who fucked her, they're saying that Diddy's transportation to engage in prostitution of these escorts is a count of transport to engage in prostitution or transportation to engage in prostitution. Okay? Count 2 is all about Cassie. Count 1, the racketeering situation, they actually started in the year or a year after Cassie dated this guy. This is, I'm going to be honest with you, and I want to be very careful about how, actually I won't even say it. If Cassie doesn't exist, it would be way more difficult to indict Diddy. Now, we don't know what's going to come later, but this whole indictment is Cassie. Cassie's the only witness. This is only because of Cassie. Again, you could read through the indictment, and if you have somewhat of a mind, you could realize Cassie gave them information, corroborated, gave them proof that Diddy had a whole system, a whole bunch of employees. Hey, when I used to leave, he used to have people follow. She marked out what could be a racketeering, what could be a racket, or it could be a conspiracy, or some type of organization, criminal organization in her lawsuit. He had his workers that would hide me from the public to hide my bruises. He had his workers who would do A, B, C, and D to make sure that I cooperated with the freak off. Yeah, this is the Cassie loss. Cassie's the reason why he got indicted, at least on this one. Now, granted, I think by the time they're done with this, they're throwing the book at this guy so much, they're going to come with way more witnesses. But right now, this first indictment is all about Cassie.
And why are the charges being sealed? Why did the feds seal the charges against Sean Puffy Combs?
I've never heard Dr. Umar sound this stupid. It's a high-profile guy that, yes, charges were only sealed until his arraignment. That's kind of how it works when they take in someone like Diddy, who they've been investigating for a while, who there's been a grand jury and panel for.
I'm going to tell you one reason why the feds sealed the charges against Sean Puffy Combs. One of the biggest reasons they sealed the charges against Sean Puffy Combs is because the evidence is probably weak.
It's unsealed. Oh my God. Yeah, I've never heard. I don't know when this video was recorded though, so I want to give him a little bit of grace. They only sealed it from when he got picked up the day before to when it was unsealed in court. They filed it. They have a arrest warrant. They arrested him. The media's going crazy. This is kind of like normal. They're going to unseal an indictment when you get to court.
The evidence is probably weak. And because
And once again, an indictment does not give evidence. It gives allegations, which they don't have to substantiate because they already got an indictment by a grand jury where they provided evidence. And the evidence that they're going to have to turn over is, at least initially, is going to be provided to the defense attorney in discovery. And also, they don't have to give it to the public. Like, we're not in the case. Now we can wait for the trial to see if there's evidence, right? But clearly a grand jury believed that there was.
the evidence is probably weak that he is guilty of interstate sex trafficking, and because the evidence is probably weak that he is guilty of interstate sex trafficking, they had to seal the charges. They had to hide the charges from you and I. They had to hide the charges from you and I long enough for the public execution to be carried out.
Yeah, Dr. Umar losing it, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think Boosie sounds more sane than Dr. Umar right there. Dr. Umar looked like he was losing it, bro. Boosie did make a point. Boosie said, yo, I feel like Diddy's in jail for doing what every other famous entertainer has done. Flew bitches out for threesomes. He just freakier. we actually go call women prostitutes who fly out willingly and willingly to be with their partners for sex. If that's the case, if you've been flued out and had sex, you should be labeled a prostitute. If that's the case, 80% of women reading this and trafficking is in trafficking. Hell nah. You're a celebrity. You gotta fly pussy. So you gotta fly out pussy. How else you gonna get to the pussy? You're never in one place. When I saw that video, I was pissed off at this nigga. Like, he really got a problem. But facing life in prison for doing what basically so many people, so many other entertainers has done, I disagree. Now, to Boosie's point, I think we should do some clarification. I know I've allowed Wack to spew that fuckery and nonsense here. But simply flying out a woman and having sex with her does not mean you're a sex trafficker. It doesn't mean that you've engaged in sex trafficking. It might be an instance, but also sex trafficking usually is something that is habitual. And again, when you think about sex trafficking, what's usually important is two things: the interstate transport of an individual for a commercial sex act, usually done by force, fraud, or coercion. That's really how it reads, even on a local level, even though sex trafficking, mostly feds pick it up. They'll do prostitution if it's like state. Here's the thing about sex trafficking. Yeah, if you fly out a girl and you tell her, if your method is you're flying out women and you tell them, if you don't fuck me, you're not going back. If you don't fuck me, or like, let's say for whatever reason, y'all had an agreement that she was going to get $5,000 for coming to hang out with you. You tell her, if you don't fuck me, you not getting this bread. Yeah, you're kind of getting close to sex trafficking. Like, it's crazy now. People like, if you willingly fly out a girl, she has sex with you, and she goes home, everything is cool. Now, granted, if she said, "Oh, I want to fuck him, but he fucked me," okay, that might be sexual assault, but that's not sex trafficking. That's not sex trafficking necessarily. Even though, by the way, sometimes sexual assault could fall underneath it, but still, sex trafficking is usually, you have lied to people, or you're forcing them somehow to come out to perform. And again, it's important what people seem to just skip over: a commercial sex act. Now, I don't want. Let me see if I can find a good definition of commercial sex acts. Commercial sex, without it being too crazy. Okay. Let's go here. Commercial sex act. Okay. A commercial sex act means any sex on account of which anything of value is received, given or received by a person. Yeah. So if you tell a girl, "Come fuck me for $5,000," you are. And I ain't gonna lie. To be honest, if that's how you flying out girls, yeah, nigga, you are sex trafficking. The fuck. Just like how she's a sex worker, you're sex trafficking. Yes. If you've been talking to a girl and she's coming to link you, I don't think that. Well, it's not even. I don't think. That doesn't constitute what they're saying is sex trafficking. Now, if you're saying, "I want you to come here to..." Now, granted, here's a fine line, right? Usually when men are talking to women to fly them out, you're hoping it results in sex. The thing is, you just can't make no agreement about it. Like, if you're making an agreement that you're coming here to fuck me for... that she has for A, B, C, or D, yeah, you're kind of sex trafficking. That's kind of how it goes, right? But usually the aspect of sex isn't something that's a commercial act that's done for either favor, at least cognizantly. It's not done under contract for favors, or it's not done for money, like in any type of official format, right? Now, do you spend money on her? Probably you do. Do you? Yeah, probably, but that's not sex trafficking. If a chick say, "I'm coming to suck your dick, put me on a plane, Just after I suck your dick, give me $1,000. Yeah, you're sex trafficking. And especially if you then don't give the money, right? If you don't give the money, yeah, I get what it is, right? That's my understanding. Let me get a lawyer to explain this shit. Every time I give a definition, I'm like, let me just get a lawyer. Sex trafficking explained law. Let's get the legal guys on this. Why am I in full screen mode? All right, here we go. No, not Diddy-esque. International, no. Not human trafficking. I just want to see lawyer. Okay, here we go.
Just ask you, and this is something that I feel like if I were a lawyer, I would understand it better, but maybe specifically in conjunction with this case, you can explain it in a way that'll make me understand it and our viewers. What is the difference here in terms of prostitution versus sex trafficking? And in terms of the allegations here and what Congressman Gates is being investigated for, are some of these things that would potentially be legal if the woman involved was of age, but they would be illegal if it was a girl involved, somebody under the age of 18?
So we'll start with prostitution. That is a state crime. It's not a federal crime. So to the extent that investigators could prove that the women had sex with
Okay, so that helps us on this case. So prostitution is not a federal crime. So essentially, if Diddy's hiring prostitutes, right? Again, if you go to a town and you just try to pay for sex and they're soliciting sex, they're advertising sexual services and you pay for it, you're indulging in prostitution. You usually get locked up, right? Like, for example, I believe prostitution is legal in Nevada everywhere but Clark County, where I believe, is it Clark County or Harris County? I can't remember which one it is. Whatever in Nevada, wherever Las Vegas is at in Nevada, that county, it's not legal in, right? So they'll arrest people. Like, if you sell pussy outside of that county, you're good. But if you sell pussy at the casino in that county, which is at Vegas, you're going to jail. It's prostitution. Now, here's the thing with sex trafficking. Obviously, it's easier to understand sex trafficking when you're thinking about federal, because you're like, oh, state to state, that means sex trafficking. But why couldn't it be sex trafficking if you're going from county to county or town to town? Say you see a fucking ad, you're in Vegas, and you see an ad that a bitch is going to drive 3 towns over. Is that sex trafficking or is that prostitution? I guess she's kind of giving the definition.
these men, and the cash payments they received were in exchange directly for that sex. That's a state crime that could be prosecuted in the state of Florida, and Florida does have very strong laws around this. So that's not something that federal prosecutors would necessarily be interested in per se, except when you start looking at sex trafficking of an adult, not sex trafficking of a minor. That is when an adult is having sex but is coerced somehow into it. And one of the other things...
Okay, so again, this is the point of what I'm saying. If you fly out a girl and tell her if she don't suck your dick, she ain't getting back on her flight. Oh, she's not getting something you promised under some... Yes, you're coercing her for sexual activity and you brought her from somewhere else. You've now trafficked this woman. Yeah, yes. That's kind of self-explanatory.
Things that we found in our reporting is that there is a lot of drug use involved in these encounters. And so investigators will start...
And that's another thing. And rather than them focusing on the lack of consent because of possible drug use, they're just saying the drugs is used to convince you to get down with the program, right? So rather than focus on consent, because it could be like, well, are you sure that these people were really out of their mind that they couldn't consent, or maybe they were just like a little buzzed? They're not focusing on that. They're just saying that you use items like drugs, like cocaine, like alcohol, like whatever, to encourage them to engage in this commercial sex act, which is really a slippery slope. I'm not going to say it's like a law that's cut and dry, but I do think that the people who think that if you're flying girls out, you're like, oh man, well I could be guilty of the same thing. No, you're not. Unless you're like guaranteed money for these girls. Like if you involve sex and money, you're probably doing something wrong. Always. Anytime you involve sex, money, you're probably doing something wrong. And don't hit me with the, well, you pay for it anyway. No. There is no law that you can't buy a flight. There's a law you could tell if you promise a bitch $1,000 for her fucking you, you have now made almost a verbal contract. That's the big point. It's a huge difference, right? And again, I'm just only talking in the eyes of the law because there's a lot of little simps out here. I know Twitch don't like that word, but yeah, there's a lot of guys out here who be like, well, you pay for it some way, so what's the difference between you bought her a flight, then you bought her a hotel? Nigga, I just gave her the $1,500. Okay, well, did you just gift her money, or was there an agreement? By the way, it's also fine to give her money if you want. If you just gift her money and there's no agreement, or she did not expect that, cool. But if she's like, I'm coming to fuck this nigga for $1,000, yes, now it's almost like a contract that normally, could be, in certain cases interpreted as prostitution, but it's now turned to trafficking beyond state lines. And obviously, if there's a coercive element, hey, I'm not booking your flight back if you don't give me this pussy. Hey, I'm not giving you this money unless you give me this pussy. You're coercing this person to get down with the now commercial sex act. It's very clear. So for all my brothers who fly girls out, y'all are safe. Just don't let me tell you this. End the conversation with any scallywag the fucking moment she says, hey, so, and by the way, I think most like escorts are like, they're, this is how I realize, and I've flown that many girls. I usually recognize a girl as an escort when she starts using certain words because they talk around the transactional part of it. They'll be like, you gonna take care of me? And I'm like, what do you mean take care of you? Like, bitch, what, you think I'm not, like, you think like I'm gonna put you in danger? They're like, nah, well, I gotta get a babysitter, my dog sitter, rent due, I gotta take off work, it's $1,500. You gotta just be like, all right, I'm gonna catch you. I think you should stay at work and stay with your kid and your dog, and I'm a good. But that's like escorts. You know the difference between what's a prostitute. The escorts try to act like they're something different. An escort's a prostitute. They just do it differently. Oh, you're not paying me for sex. You're paying me for my time. But we have a wink, wink, head nod understanding that when I spend time with you, I fuck you. You get what I'm saying? Like you're just like a prostitute, right? You're a prostitute. So like you have the expert girls who know how to talk around it. But for dudes who don't indulge in none of that, generally, if women talk about money and you're talking about seeing them hanging out and sex and they bring up money, just stay away from it, brother. Like, just stay away from it. You get what I mean? Any type of, and here's where the element of sex trafficking comes in, right? Because it's alleged in Cassie's situation that Diddy used to bribe her with gifts for some of these encounters. Yes, you're doing something wrong if you tell your girl, I'll buy you a bag if you let my homie fuck you. Yes, that's a transaction at that point. Yes, you're also intuitively, you're doing something wrong, and it's going to lead towards sex trafficking when you're paying sex workers to come in. It's automatically, whatever you're doing, it's a commercial sex act. You're paying sex workers to come in. You're paying for this. This is transactional. This is not just like you seen a girl on the gram, start liking a couple pictures, start saucing her up, start talking to her, you fly her out, you're hoping to fuck, you do fuck or whatever, and let's say, I don't know, you bring her out to dinner, you're not sex trafficking, my nigga. That's not sex trafficking. We got to make a very clear distinction.
Looking and saying, well, was the drug use a form of coercion? We've seen cases where
Rico Barlow says that's why you say you're giving them a donation. Okay, well, I mean, if that's your way of getting around that type of thing, but, again, women are going to be very forward. Yo, I need to be compensated. Or, like, again, I think a woman who don't ask, you shouldn't even have to talk about money with, because, if you do want to give her money, that's on you, but she's trying to come link you because she either likes you or maybe she's playing along game. Who gives a fuck why? You run into problems when you're like, yo, hey, tell this escort, this black dude that's 6'3", I want him to come fuck Cassie. We're gonna give him $8,000. He comes to the joint. Not only is he gonna get $8,000, you give him a shit ton of drugs. You give Cassie a shit ton of drugs. You then tell Cassie, yo, because you did this freak off, I'm about to, and by the way, this is the coercive part for Cassie. Cassie's whole demeanor is, if I don't do the freak offs, my career ends. It stalls. My entire livelihood relies on this guy making him happy. I have to do the freak off. So really, you know, the only thing here, actually not the only thing, these male escorts could be as well seen as victims. What I'm thinking is probably happening is that they could be seen as victims or someone who's participating. Because escorts in that capacity, if it was known that you were coming to fuck, that's illegal. An escort technically is supposed to be for your time, not for the fucking. I guarantee all them talking to the feds are getting immunity, because the feds' job here is not to kill escorting and prostitution. They know that's always existed. It'll continue to exist, and they didn't spend that money to try to end prostitution or escorting. Their job is trying to stop Diddy, who they think is a powerful force, who's manipulating that world to then manipulate and fuck with other people. So I'm pretty sure they're going to bring the escorts in. They're going to say, hey, listen, we don't want you. We'll give you this motherfucking, we're going to give you this immunity, right? We want Diddy. You get what I'm saying? Because you got to realize these escorts talking to these people. If the escorts are talking to the feds allegedly eventually this month, and by the way, that is here. I'll post it and show you. According to TMZ, they said, let me just type in escort. According to TMZ, here we go. They said that there's 2 escorts that's about to talk to 2 escorts that's about to talk to the feds this month. I'm pretty sure they're talking to the escorts and saying, we don't want you. We're not looking at you as a co-conspirator. Just give us what we want, right? Yeah, that's clearly what's probably going on.
Puffy.
Because if the escort tells, like, if I'm an escort, I wouldn't want to sit with the cops. Why? If me, then number one, you can't lie to a federal law enforcement who's conducting an investigation. That's a crime as well. So you got to get interviewed by these people, and they're going to ask you, hey, was it part of the contract that when you came that you had to have sex? If you say no, and they find that there was a leaked call or a recorded call or email somewhere where you kind of admitted that you're showing up to fuck, right? Or, you know, or it's on one of Diddy's tape to say, yo, Diddy, now if you give me another $1,000, I'll fuck her for another hour. Yeah, you're admitting that you're doing a crime. So I'm pretty sure they're getting immunity, and then they're gonna sing like a bird on Diddy. You know, the only thing that is probably very important, which Diddy's own lawyers said that they try to interview the escorts too, is if the escorts are gonna say this was a completely out of, you know, to quote Quando Rondo, out of body experience. We were all drunk and all high. There is no, like, consent isn't a thing. Like, everybody's drunk beyond belief. Every time I've seen Cassie, she's incoherent, passed out. Like, that puts a different tint on it. But I'm almost certain that they probably wouldn't say that because they were the people supposedly penetrating Cassie, right? Anyway, let's finish.
Where people are given drugs because they're addicts, and then they are asked to have sex, and they say yes because they really need the drugs, and so that has been considered coercion in some cases in the past. So that's when investigators will start saying, okay, well, if there was, you know, something that we would think of as prostitution, was there a coercive element? Were these women being passed around between men? Was it completely, you know, with their consent, and what else was going on? They'll want to look at a lot of elements, and these are crimes that can be difficult to prove. Now,
so again, remember I told you, honestly, it would be an easier job to defend. Like, this is going to sound crazy. A sexual assault charge is easier to defend than a sex trafficking charge. Just like a shooting charge or a murder charge is easier to defend than a RICO charge. Why? It's because it takes into the latter takes into account the nuances that exist that doesn't make shit black and white, right? Because if it's sexual assault, I'm pretty sure a lot of these things, Diddy does not even have sex with Cassie. He sits there and whacks off, and if he's charged with sexual assault, there's going to be so many defenses. Well, the actual guy who penetrated her, why isn't he charged? Diddy never touched her. Diddy's in the corner with his baby oil, like he's sitting in a baby oil bath, just whacking off. How do you charge him, right? There's more of a defense for Diddy with that, right? Like, no, like, shit. Also, if it's this freak off we're hearing, every time Diddy may have penetrated her, if he ever did, on these freak offs or in these tapes, it's caught on video. There's also a witness, which is the male prostitutes or whoever else is watching. So it's kind of harder to charge Diddy with sexual assault. Way easier to say sex trafficking, because sex trafficking could just take in all the little minute details. Well, even though she wasn't kicking and screaming and saying she ain't want to do it, even though she ain't never say stop, she kind of felt pressured because you control her livelihood. She kind of felt pressured because she wanted her album out. She kind of felt pressured because historically, every time she take a hit off that cocaina, she get loose, right? So, you know, like you gave her drugs, you're holding shit over her head. She felt like so really, you know, when you think about sexual assault, you think about non-consensual sex. Sex trafficking, it could look consensual, but there's these mitigating factors. Well, her career was in limbo. Well, this, well, that. She felt that she was being coerced. She was being pressured. She felt by being in that room and everybody's fucking, let's say it's an orgy, everybody's fucking, she felt she had to join in, or, you know, maybe get bullied or get ridiculed, or, you know, she feared that somebody might put hands on her if she didn't part. You know, like these things could go all in the sex trafficking statute when you say under force or coercion, right? So yeah. All right. Okay.
Sex trafficking of a minor is a little bit different.
Oh yeah. We don't got to talk about that. That's not applicable in this case until we really see a charge about a minor, and then pretty much is just, did you fuck the minor or not?
You don't need coercion.
See?
It is a hard stop on the age. It is simply somebody under the age of 18 who's given literally anything of value. It could be.
And that's the interesting part of, you know, if, you know, Dr. Umar was going to make that point. We heard that there was a 17-year-old that Diddy fucked and flew on a private jet. And supposedly they claimed they were given substances to take. Again, it don't even matter if they were given substances to take. If you're under 18 and a nigga flew you from one state to the other state, that's the definition of sex trafficking. It's open and shut. That's Jeffrey Epstein. That's R. Kelly. It's over, right? With this Diddy case, I'm wondering why they didn't use that 17-year-old who filed the charge. You know what I'm talking about, right? The 17-year-old who filed the charge. 17, or she was 17 then. She's not 17 now, clearly. 17-year-old Diddy. This woman right here, like, she would be the person to say, like, this would be the strongest case. If Diddy fucked her, remember she was 17 at the time, flew her in a jet, they're gonna have proof of the manifest. Okay, you flew here. Like, even just having a witness to say, oh yeah, I seen her go into the bathroom and take some drugs. It was alleged that she supposedly sucked off his president of Bad Boy at that time, Harv Peer, before she got on the jet. But yeah, if there's even a witness, I think that's an easy charge. Like, I'm wondering why she's not listed in there. Granted, this is in this happened in what do you call it again? 1993, I believe. Is this 1993? I think this is 1993. I think this is 1993 that situation happened. Which, again, I still don't think there's a statute of limitation, right? There's no statute of limitation. Yeah, what year was this? Let's see. No, it was 2003. Never mind. Oh, my bad. I can't even see it. 2003. It was 2003. It was this girl right here. They blurred her face because she was a minor at the time. She got supposedly flew from Detroit, Michigan, I believe, into New York. So, yeah. If they could approve this, why not just bring the indictment back to that? I don't even think there's a statute of limitations. No, there's definitely no statute of limitations on on sex trafficking, right? Statute of limitations on sex trafficking federally. Let's look at that. Nah, none. Well, it says human trafficking, but I think sex trafficking is it's like same thing. Yeah, especially when there's a minor. Yeah, definitely when there's a minor. There's no So I'm wondering why that's not charged. And she's clearly still alive. She filed a lawsuit. She's alive. So maybe that's the thing that comes in the next lawsuit. Because if they come with this, it's over, right? Right now Diddy has a case to say, oh, we were all with it. Nah, this was consensual. Oh, cool. If you want to say I paid some prostitutes, fine. But that's not federally sex trafficking. That doesn't have a 15-year mandatory minimum, which is the mandatory minimum he's facing up to life. So that's going to be his case. I'm pretty sure he might have some videos of Cassie saying, like, and here's the thing. These are all going to be defense points for Diddy. If during that 15 years they were together, if Cassie ever suggested it, yo, I think tonight we should do a freak off. If Cassie ever suggested it, that's going to be some proof for Diddy to say, hey, it wasn't just me. Look, she was down with it. What do you mean? So, I think that's got to be his mentality going into this. Again, I'm surprised, and we don't know what's going to happen in the future. This would have been the case to kill Diddy completely. Like, the Cassie shit, obviously, that's why I think that the feds leaked the video at this point. They referenced the video 35 times. And then the video, it's important, the way how this made a splash in the media, this wouldn't mean nothing if we didn't see the video. Like, all those March 16, 2016, or March 25, 2016, it wouldn't make no sense if we never seen the video. So, ironically, we all know what video is being referenced. So, it does hit hard at this point, pause. But if we never seen the video, it would have been like, where's the video, right? So this is why I'm wondering why this one is in there. If this one's in there, it's like you can't really beat that. Even though you probably could say, well, this is before really technology was really popping, but there's photographs. There's photographs of her at the crib. Maybe there's no proof of them having sex, but there's definitely, obviously there's no like kit, to our kit to validate that sexual activity was what happened. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Anyway, what's kind of, chat, I ain't gonna lie, man. Diddy's kids is something else, bro. They said this was last night, bro. They said last night Diddy's son out with his girlfriend, which is Ian Connor's ex-girlfriend. I think her name is Raven. She posted a caption, y'all know I love my man, I love my man, I love my man. Don't fucking play with me. And again, obviously, there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. But obviously, his family's under the spotlight, so to see him partying it up. And obviously, apparently, it was her event and he was supporting. But I'm going to be honest with you. I want my kids looking sad as shit and off the grid. I want my kids off the grid and looking sad. If I'm Christian Combs, I'll be like, yo, bro, wrong time to post this right now. Like, please. Like, half of what my dad's case is or application for bail or bail appeal is to say, I have these kids, they need me. This doesn't scream that. This scream life goes on. Bad boy, take that. Let's Harlem shake it up. Like, this don't scream that. I want my kids to be crying, watery-eyed, just like when they see, like, breaking down. I want that. Yeah, let's get me out. Just get me out. Yeah. I don't want to see. It's not time to see you partying right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just bad timing. Now I know y'all gonna be like, the sins of the father shouldn't also be inherited by the son, but also we're gonna have to be clear. Granted, this is definitely a civil suit, and I want to be very clear about this. Christian Combs has a civil suit, not a criminal suit. He has a civil suit, and obviously that would mean nothing, but your father just got indicted. You know what I'm saying? For similar shit. Your father just got indicted literally 4 days ago. I would say just chill right now. You can chill right now. Just chill. You want to have a good time with your girlfriend? Go to an island. Go spend time with her. Don't be in a New York City club. If you get caught with a paparazzi with one of them shits that could see from a mile, fuck it. But not a New York City club. Looking like, you know what I mean? Looking like you looking at her like a bottle of baby oil. No. Just wrong time. And obviously, I want to have some grace for the kids as well, because I'm saying kids, they're grown men. This is a grown ass man. But when I mean kids, his kids, because they're not charged with any crime. Even if they're mentioned civil, it's civil. We all know that shit could be all cap. They're not charged with any crime. They're also, because of who their father is, they're thrusted in the limelight. Are they just supposed to mope around? Could they not, have a life? Do they have to then put on a facade of sadness? Obviously, I would say, yeah, I do. But, they might also be saying, damn, what the fuck? What are we supposed to do, right? Anyway. Happy for them. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, my son should not be smiling like this. Not when I'm in jail. Fuck out of here. My son should be on my... Yo, let me tell you this. If I have sons, and by the way, I'm not criticizing his sons, because who knows what they're doing outside of this. I want my sons to be on my lawyer's ass. If I'm locked, my sons got to be on their ass. Because remember, them lawyers, they're just doing billable hours. Every hour, $3,000. They're just billing it. Oh, yeah, we're doing this research. We stayed on the phone. They're just billing it. Oh, we have to go on CNN. They're just billing you hours. They're just hitting that bank account. You feel what I'm saying? You need your sons to hold it down and make sure the lawyers don't just drain you dry. Pause, no Diddy. All pun intended. But, yeah, I don't want my son in the club at this time. No more clubs. Fuck that. I would have called my sons and said, listen here, King. You was never going to make it as a rapper anyway. I pushed you with some nepotism shit, no disrespect. I need you now to be on my lawyer's ass. No Diddy. I mean, no me. No whatever. Anyway, I need you to make sure everything is going good, because the only with all due respect to the daughters that he has, you got to let them be right now. Let them be protected, hopefully outside the media eye. Your sons, you need to have them as soldiers that's holding it down. You get what I'm saying? Right now, only people you could trust if you're Diddy, your mama. No matter what happened, you always could trust your mama. You killed 52 people, you can trust mama, right? That's how moms are so. Well, I'll say all moms. I was going to say black moms, but no, all moms. Yeah. Mama hold it down. And I would imagine your sons, especially if you're a man, your sons got to hold it down. Yeah, mama and your sons. You let mama handle, just oversee the finances, right? You let the sons go out there and do the general shit, make those tough calls to, not no witnesses, but yo, say some employees who was getting a check, yo, y'all cut off. Yo, dad locked up. Y'all cut off. We don't need you. Nah, y'all done. We good. Yeah, everything's straight though. Yo, getting on the lawyer's ass. Yo, why the hell we see that in court? How's this some new shit that just popped up? Bro, we paying you millions of dollars. You got to be on their ass. Diddy he's locked up now. He only gets so much time with his lawyer. So his son's got to be on top of that. Again, I'm just talking about family unit. I'm not saying nobody's innocent or guilty, but just how you would probably want to move, right? But yeah, it look like my man is enjoying his time with his queen, right? Okay. they have said that the daughters, Diddy daughters, have been supposedly, and these are Kim Porter daughters, two twins. They're saying that they've been living with a friend of Kim Porter. They've been living with a friend of Kim Porter, someone named Lala, who's a friend of their late mother. And yeah, that's kind of interesting because I think they're in a weird position, right? They're in a weird position as now the rumors and the noise of people saying, open Kim Porter's case back is so loud. But, you know, for a good part of their life now, or some years, their mother has been deceased. And all who they've had is their dad. So I know the media want to make it like, well, if you care about Kim Porter, you have to hate Diddy. But I would imagine that their kids, the twins, are probably looking at this a little bit different, where obviously they're always, you know what I mean, losing a parent is like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, they're always going to be sad about the loss of their mom. But I don't think no way, shape at all means that they don't support their father during this time. I think they 100% support their father. I think they love him, and I think they want him to get through this, right? Like, I mean, there's no way, no world that I think that they're sitting back and saying, you know, I hope my father goes down for what's being allegedly said that happened to my, hell no. I don't think that at all. You get what I'm saying? I don't think that at all. Apparently they were born in 2006. I guess they're about like 17 now. They're about 17, I believe. Yeah, because it's 18 years ago, but not 18 yet because it's not December 21st. Just 5 months after he welcomed his daughter Chance with Sarah Chapman. Okay. Obviously, we're not going to find out where the babies are. You know what I mean? Well, not babies. I mean, the baby, which is Love Combs, right? Yeah. Okay. So I wouldn't look into the story much to say, oh, because they're living with their late mother's friend. I would imagine they would be close to Kim Porter's side of the family, or, you know, friends that used to be cool with them. I'm not sure if all of Diddy's kids look up to, like, say, Misa Hilton as like a motherly figure. Obviously, that's Justin Combs' mom. So I don't see a problem with, or I don't see this being a signal that they're not supporting their dad if they're hanging with a friend of their late mom. Yeah, I don't think so at all. Okay. Give me 1 second. What else am I pulling up? I'm trying to get through this, people. I'm trying to get through this. Supposedly, Harvey Weinstein's lawyer spoke about this. Let me hear. And Harvey Weinstein's lawyer actually said they predict that Diddy is going to get life in prison. Here we go.
Major crisis PR person,
Here we go.
housing, so that if they let...
And Ivanka pledged.
And then she says, you can't traffic somebody who agreed and wants to be there. Oh, okay. It sounds to me like Jeffrey Epstein also led this same lifestyle. And you know what's really hard to do is get out of a situation where you are surrounded by... So I have asked Arthur Aidala, whom I...
So this was a lawyer for Harvey Weinstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
...adore. Arthur Aidala is a well-known criminal attorney. He reps currently Harvey Weinstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, who is accused of being Jeffrey Epstein's number 2. And while Arthur does not rep Puffy, I think he's going to know what is about to happen to him. So let's bring in Arthur. Arthur, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. You know, I'm listening to everything you just said. And, you know, of course, that's all alleged. It's all alleged.
Alleged.
Alleged. And, you know, maybe the baby
Actually,
oil.
It's not alleged. I'm sorry. No, they found 1,000 bottles of lube and baby oil. That's not alleged. They found AK-47s. They found all this stuff. How is that alleged?
You know, the baby oil Okay, could be old school when you want to go get a suntan. Remember when we were kids, we'd put baby oil on instead of suntan lotion? So it could have been used for that.
Wait, they
And
didn't find no
like,
iodine, though, because back in the 80s, it was baby oil and iodine. And you know who used that? Really white chicks like me.
oh, okay, okay, it's good to know. And the lubricant, maybe he was chafed a lot and he needed to put that like in between his legs so it didn't, I mean, look, there were answers to some of these questions, you know what I'm saying? But being serious for a moment, you talked about being on boats and Ivanka and having fun and partying.
Mm-hmm.
How much you never found yourself in any of those situations.
No,
How much do we want?
But wait, I didn't find myself in that situation. A, he did threaten me. And B, yes, I was on a boat where we had a little dance party. That was for approximately an hour and a half. And I was in a privileged position. At the time, I was a member of Page Six. He was trying to court my favor. And he did this with certain people. So I had a level of protection. I was not one of those women who was relying on him for my career, for food. He also paid for a lot of people's housing so that if they left, they'd be totally dumped.
There's only one complainant. There's not women. There's one complainant.
Oh, no, there's more. No, you're absolutely wrong. There's the latest one, this girl, Dawn from Danity Kane.
I'm talking about what's in the indictment.
Okay.
So that, I got to do that law thing. You know the law thing? I got to do the law.
I know, but here's the deal. They didn't take it just off of Cassie's. They interviewed all the hookers and prostitutes that they saw in the videos. They didn't just take it off of Cassie's word.
Right, but they didn't charge him with any of those people doing anything against their will. So when Tina, the lawyer, says it's a lifestyle thing, do we really want the government? How much do we want the government in our business? That's the bottom line. How much do you want
I want the government in my business if someone's holding me on a boat, plying me with drugs, and I can't leave, and they're all like, okay, now you're supposed to have sex with these dudes. Yeah, I want the government to step in. That's just an FYI. That's my personal taste. I'm just saying.
Okay, I agree, but it's also, that's not really what the facts are here. The bottom line is these are rock stars, pop stars, rap stars, multi-millionaire stars. And, I don't know, they say he threatened people. It has been ruled by the courts, the highest courts, that it's not a threat to say either you have sex with me or you're not going to get promoted in the music industry. That's not a threat under the penal law.
Yeah, but you know what is a threat? A threat is, if you don't do this, you're trying to leave. I'm going to beat you down.
That's a threat.
You'll be no one. You're never going to work again.
No, that's not a threat. That's not a threat.
All right, well, he did both. He did both.
That's not a threat. I have spoken to many supermodels who tell me how many times they were solicited, how many times they said, go take a walk, and they became supermodels. So individuals have to make a choice. Do I want to partake in these sex acts and maybe get elevated through the world of music or modeling or acting? Or do I want to say, no, I'm going to do it on my own? But it's not a threat to say it may be a civil thing and maybe you'll be able to sue under.
Yeah,
under
the
criminal law. That's not a threat.
All right. I don't know the specifics of criminal law, but I know what is a threat. And I'm looking at all this going, that's a lot of them. All right.
Charged with one. He's charged with one.
Let's just move on for a hot minute because Puffy was denied twice bail. And they said, nope, you're staying in because the biggest reason they said was we don't think that.
Nah, this guy looked like he's trying to get added to the team. I'm not saying he's defending Diddy, but he's definitely making the arguments that a good defense attorney would make, in the sense of, hey, I'm not a moral police. I don't want to I don't want to talk about baby oil because that could have multiple uses. I just want to talk about what's being alleged as a crime, while everybody's talking about, yo, this shit looks crazy. By the way, we're gonna switch gears a little bit after this video, and then we'll kind of get back to this too, because I know some of y'all are getting Diddy'd out, no Diddy. But give me a second.
That you're not going to intimidate witnesses. We've got your passport. That's fine.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
Why do you think so?
He's known about this since March of this year, right?
And
so he knows
he contacted people over the summer, even while he knew about this.
And yet he didn't go anywhere. And yet he's almost a billionaire. He could get on a plane and go to one of the many countries. He could join Roman Polanski over in France, where he's been for 40 years.
Russell Simmons in Bali. I get it.
He hasn't gone anywhere. And in fact, he then flew to New York so that they weren't going to arrest him in California, so he could be closer to
This is a guy who's so arrogant. He got off in the Club New York case, and I remember when he was pronounced not guilty, and his face was like, wait, what? And now you've got Shine coming out saying he basically ruined Shine's life, and that he took the fall. You've got the gun victim in the New York case who still got bullet fragments in her face, and she's like, yeah, it was Puffy. I saw the gun. So he has precedence for basically saying, yeah, I can skate. I skated before. I'm going to skate again.
12 jurors in that case, found not guilty. So I guess, as we always rely on jurors when they convict people, I guess we should rely on jurors, right, when they acquit people as well. The bottom line is, main purpose for the bail is to make sure he comes back. That's the primary purpose. Dangerousness is also a factor, but the primary purpose is to make sure he comes back. If he was going to split, he would have split already. He was putting up $50 million, putting on an ankle bracelet and saying, I'm not going to leave my house unless I have to go to my lawyers or my doctors. There's no, if his name wasn't Puffy Combs, he would have gotten that bail like that.
I disagree, because I think now they want to know who he's talking to and monitor his calls, because he has.
They can do that. They totally have the ability. Listen, they do that with all of us anyway. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, but it isn't admissible in court.
Well,
Okay.
but part of his bail condition can be all your phone calls are monitored.
All right.
except with your lawyer.
You think he's going to be? You think he's going to be let off? You think he's going to beat this?
No.
Oh. So you think? I mean, do we think he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail?
I think there's a high probability.
Damn, despite he just basically agreed that Diddy should get bail. He just said that the indictment didn't really show much, and he just now is saying, nah, Diddy's finished. Wow. By the way, again, this is the attorney. His name is Arthur Aidala. He's represented Ghislaine Maxwell and, of course, infamously Harvey Weinstein.
Probability of it, and I'm only basing that on statistics. The Southern District of New York's conviction rate is over 90%. So if you're doing the Las Vegas odds, they win over 90% of their cases that go to trial. They have excellent lawyers. Mark Agnifilo is excellent. Tina is excellent. They have a guy named Zach behind them, who's a former big-time U.S. attorney. He has a great team.
Well, all right. So quickly, because we got to wrap. Update on Ghislaine Maxwell. Her appeal got denied, but you also called it. You said it was going to get denied. What happens next?
Okay. We're going to see if 4 of the 9 justices on the United States Supreme Court say, you know what, we need to hear this because we think that there was basically in human terms.
Oh, okay. So they're talking about Ghislaine.
So as everybody knows, Diddy, aka the Diddler, he has finally been locked up, and it's been crazy ever since. I'm not gonna lie. Now, you feel me? He's in prison, or let me rephrase, jail, on suicide watch. You feel me? That's kind of a crazy life. You go from being a billionaire, mansions all over the world, having freak offs, you feel me, with women and men, you feel me, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Man, even though I do think Diddy is very, 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 very guilty, I want to ask one thing. If what Diddy did is considered sex trafficking, isn't like what every like high profile entertainer who like fly women from Instagram like all over just for sex trafficking as well? Like that's a question I just want to ask, you feel me? Because you gotta call a spade a spade. If Diddy's doing it, then you gotta look at almost every celebrity who does the same thing, or who throws big parties and, you feel me, women pull up and they do crazy freaky stuff at those parties, bro. Like, I don't know. So like, and I only asked that because I really sat there and thought to myself, like, man, I don't necessarily feel bad for Diddy, and I don't think Diddy is a good person. And I think he probably, when they really investigate deeper into Diddy, they're going to find way other stuff besides all this freak stuff that he probably did do. Man, this freaky stuff and all the allegations and stuff, like how you see all the executives and stuff stepping down, Diddy is coming, bro. No Diddy, but Diddy is coming, no Diddy. I think he's going to expose everyone, and like labels are scared and they're trying to get rid of everyone and everything. If Diddy ends up like the dude, who's that one dude with the island who killed himself? If Diddy ends up like that, we should not sit there and act surprised, you feel me? But it's your boy Big Act News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'd say pray for Diddy. Honestly, pray for Diddy, man. He probably needs it right now. He's probably fiending. Probably Meek Mill's on the phone with him, trying to keep him calm. Feel me? He's probably telling Meek Mill, send me some pics over. You feel me? I miss you. I like when you do it like that. But you feel me? It's your boy Big Act News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I am out.